welcome back to our haunted library. It's Batilda. I hope you like my new look. I wanted something different for the new year, something fresh. And what is the secret to my allure? Only my hairdresser knows for sure. Anyway, so Regina has allowed me to start doing reviews of the countless paperbacks from hell she has on our shelves, and she'll never read them all. So we're doubling up this year, and I am going to be doing all the, shall we say, tawdry books, the fun ones, in other words, while she does the literary classics and does readathons on BookTube that she'll never finish. But anyway, I digress. So the first book that I'm going to be reviewing for this new year is Sunglasses After Dark by Nancy A. Collins. Now, this book, now I had to borrow Regina's glasses, so just bear with me. This was a quick, fun read about a vampire, but not a tame one. This is a kick-ass vampire girl, and I loved her. She was right after my own heart, I have to say. This came out in 1989, and Nancy A. Collins is an American writer. Oh, she's a Virgo like me. We're so twisted. I just have to say, we are the most twisted ladies in the zodiac. She has done a whole series on this character, Sonia Blue, and she's also written comic books including Swamp Thing, Jason vs. Leatherface, Predator, and a few others. And she lives in New Orleans, one of my favorite cities. So I just have a feeling that Nancy and I would get along great, especially after I read this book. Now, I did notice when I was doing some research on Goodreads and looking at the other reviews that people were complaining a bit that the new issue of this book wasn't very well done. It maybe was re-edited. Now, after reading this, I think I know why. I mean, if you are offended, let me just say, nothing offends me, but if you are offended by acts of violence of the sexual nature against every being, including a German Shepherd, I mean, I even draw the line there. This might offend you. This is not for your average Twilight reader. Now, I love Twilight, but this is a different ilk. This is more of your splatterpunk kind of gruesome horror that I love. So let's take a look at this. The basic story told out of sequence is that a young teenage girl named Denise Thorne, so little Denise hops in the Rolls Royce, very innocent, and, you know, never get in the car with a strange man, okay? Even if it's a Rolls Royce, just don't do it. But poor Denise ends up being ravaged in the backseat of the Rolls Royce while the evil chauffeur driver leers through the glass. And as she's being robbed of her innocence, let's say, she becomes a vampire. She's dropped by the side of the road, and when she wakes up, she is a different being. She doesn't remember the socialite girl that she was. She doesn't remember the little Miss Private School girl that she was. She now wanders the streets, and you can kind of guess what would happen. She ends up being a prostitute, and she is called Sonia Blue. Now, in her travels all over the world as a undead prostitute, she meets all kinds of different beings that are part of this universe. Now, there's a lot packed into this book, I just have to say. It's almost like a Clive Barker-esque universe. And I have to really commend Miss Collins for having an incredible imagination. But she has this group called the Pretenders. So the Pretenders are all kinds of different supernatural beings, like ogres and vampires, of course, revenants, sensitives, different, like clairvoyants, different types of beings that live among us. Like, can you imagine? Strange things living among us? I just can't imagine. Anyway, it makes for a good storytelling. It's kind of a little bit like a revenge quest. She's trying to get vengeance on a character named Morgan, who is the one who raped her in the back of the Rolls Royce. The plot is a little hard to find sometimes, but I still loved the general feeling of this book, if that makes sense, because it has such great female characters. And let me tell you, this girl is kick-ass. And I really enjoyed those scenes in which she just beat up punk rock gangs and turned the tables on beasts who were trying to hurt her. It's very cathartic, I have to say. Another character in the book is a televangelist who, at the beginning of the story, just kind of appears as this faith healer of a very diabolical kind. She can actually, like if you have heart disease, she'll shove her fist right through your chest and pull out your heart. There, I fixed it. Of course, the person's dead, but the audience doesn't know that because her helpers have already dragged him off backstage. That's the kind of faith healer we're dealing with, and I really liked her character too. Now here is just a quick sample of the kind of scene I'm talking about. It could be in a Tarantino film. So here's our kick-ass heroine confronting a gang of punks. She let fly with an empty beer bottle. It struck the fleeing gang member in the right knee. The boy fell to the floor, clutching his shattered kneecap. The last of the blue monkeys was smaller than the rest, 15 years old at best. He was the one who mentioned Chaz. Figured Chaz liked him young, rough, and stupid. She held the boy by his club jacket's lapels. The toes of his boots brushed the floorboards. "Where is Chaz?" The kid was terrified beyond speech. His eyes were as black as her mirrored sunglasses. She pushed against the wall of hysteria surrounding his mind. "Tell me where he is!" The boy's will folded like a Chinese fan. "Don't know. Truth! Truth!" "Now that can't be true. Surely you know where he likes to hang out. You can tell me." "Hellhole! Look in the hellhole! Don't hurt me!" "Hurt you? Now why would I want to do that?" The other lowered the boy until the feet once more touched the floor, but did not relinquish her hold. There was a gnawing pain in her chest from the knife wound. Her scalp itched, and she was breathing like a bellows. It would take an hour for the damage to heal on its own, but she could boost the process with some blood. Not much, just enough. The littlest gang member stood trembling in her hands like a trapped rabbit. She had glimpsed his sins during their brief touching of minds. Gang rape, hit and run, mugging, liquor store robbery, street fighting. Quite impressive. It'd have to be fast. She could hear the sirens in the distance. Her fangs unsheathed, wet and hard. She pulled him to her in a lover's embrace. He had an erection. They always did. So that's just a little taste of Sunglasses After Dark. I really enjoyed this book. And if you like a tawdry tale that really holds no bar in the violence department, then I think you will like it too. I give it 4 out of 5 lightning bolts. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for stopping by Regina and Batilda's Haunted Library. Till next time, bye!